Hello guys, welcome back to the Garden Tractor Geek channel. Sorry I have been so dormant for so long. That's kind of been my fault. I'll be completely honest, my life's just gotten very busy. And yeah, I need to get back into the videos. It's gonna be the fall time here soon, and that's when I really like to enjoy and make videos. Sorry if I am a little shaky. I haven't done this in a while. So forgive me for that. I do have a SpeedX video coming. I think I'm going to post that before I post this one. But it might be either or, I don't know. So let's update each tractor and what we're doing and what's going on. So here's the 78 John Deere 316. You guys obviously know about this tractor pretty well. We rebuilt the carburetor. It was overloading with fuel and the float was sticking. We rebuilt it, and evidently it's now knocking and causing a whole bunch of other problems. It's dumping fuel all down the side of the tractor. So the carburetor's what's causing this, and I just have been too lazy to tear it back down apart and redo it again. So, you know, that's my fault. Like I said, the time just hasn't been there anymore for me. But I'm going to get this back going again. I don't know what I'm doing with the 316, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't have a use for it. And I hate to see it sit here. You might ask, well, why don't I have a use for it? It's a great tractor. Well, this isn't going to give you an exact example, because the other side of my lawn's much bigger. But that's about the width of most of the lawns that I'm mowing. And the driveways are, about the same size. That's where the 54-inch blade on this isn't going to work, and the 46-inch deck is just a little bit too much. I believe that's 46. I need more or less a 42 deck and a, 42 blade. So I'm going to get into that in a second. But the attachments for this are just a little overkill, and I'm not, I'm so torn on this tractor specifically because the only time I really use it is for plow day and shows. And that's only 2 shows out of the year, and plow day once a year. It sees work or use 3 times a year, and that's it. So, I mean, I don't really know. I don't use this to tow a lawn cart because it has a sleeve hitch on. But, I mean, it is a nice, something needs pulled out or something. It is a good recovery tractor. I sent this down over the bank behind here about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I don't know. And there was no way I was getting this out. I think about a month ago. And it was open diffing. So there was no way. I even sat on that fender, and I'm 280 pounds, and I couldn't get this thing to budge. And I started this up with a bad carburetor, and I'll tell you what, it ripped this cub right up the hill. This cub does run good. It's been my main work tractor this summer, although I will say it has not seen much heavy-duty work. Besides pulling a lawn cart, this spring we cut down a tree. I used this one and this one to pull some heavier branches that were too heavy to lift. Other than that, though, they really haven't seen that much work. I mowed maybe 10, 15 times with this year. Nothing crazy. Maybe not even that, I don't know. But here's my, well, anyways, let me tell you about this. The local show, the Nittany Antique Machinery Show in Center Hall, Pennsylvania. Their featured tractor this year is International Harvester. This will be my show tractor for that. This is a 1966 Cub Cadet International 102, 10 horsepower cooler. Sorry again if I'm shaking, I'm not used to this. I'm using a new phone as well. But, I'm kind of torn right now. I also have my local fair coming up, and there's pulls for a week and a half, and I gotta pay to get in there. I'm into the tractor pulls and the truck pulls. I would like to get the reflectors, take this cup holder off. I might still take the cup holder off, just it's kind of an eyesore, even though it's nice to have. And I need this center piece. Now, it doesn't have a bolt on there. It's kind of stripped, but it's so rusted on there. I pretty much dare you to try to get that off, so I'm not really that worried about it. If I was on a four-wheeler, something going fast or a racing mower, but I'm going, 5 miles an hour. If that thing comes off at that speed, then oh wow. But basically, I have yet to see that come off, and we've been using it for years. It was my dad's before it was mine. I did put a new carburetor on this. I put a Carter on it instead of a Wellbro, which is what it originally had. I do not like Wellbros. So let's go on to the push mower. I kind of talked a lot about these two. This was my nightmare of this season. I knew it had a carburetor issue. It was clogged. I tried some ether in it. It started up and then quit running. So I took it off to the local small engine shop. Needless to say, they called me up, and I told them, you know, I just want the carburetor clean, that is it. So I get a call from them a couple days later. Hello, sir. That'll be $90 for your push mower. I said, for what? A carburetor cleaning or a carburetor rebuild? Oh no, we put a new head gasket on it, we changed the oil, put a new blade on, all stuff that I could do. The only reason I didn't go into the carburetor was I was just super busy at that time, and I was mowing like crazy. I just didn't have the time to do it. So that one kind of bit me in the butt. I had to get bailed out from my dad. Thank God for him. I did not have the $90. I was told originally it was going to be about $30 to $35. So that was rough. They did way more than, and you know, the carburetor was the immediate thing on this, as I just needed it running so I could cut lawns and get the finishing work done at that time. And so I just needed the carburetor rebuilt. I was going to wait a couple weeks until I wasn't busy, and then I was going to dig into the blade, the primer that was wrong, the minor things, the head, that type of stuff I was going to do at a later date, which wasn't immediate for me. Instead, they did it, and well, kind of bit me in the butt. This was my steal, per se. I bought this from a gentleman about 20-25 minutes away. Bought it for 15 bucks. It wasn't running. He bought this, and then his landlord told him, he bought it from Lowe's, and his landlord told him, well, I don't want you mowing the grass anymore, so yeah, I'm going to get it done professionally. So meanwhile, this guy bought this mower and, well, didn't need it anymore. So he just let it sit. I picked it up for $15. My dad, we took his truck and brought it back home, and we took the air cleaner off here, kind of sprayed some ether in there, got it running a little bit, it stalled, run a little bit, it stalled, and ran it, and then stuck his hand over the carburetor. It sucked all that dirt through and started running alright. It was running pretty crappy. So I don't have any left, but I put some seafoam down in it, and needless to say, I let it sit. Hour, 2 hours. I come back to start this sucker up, and it runs like a dream, and it's ran like that ever since. I'll start it for you. But yeah, I only paid $15 for basically a brand new mower. So this has one of the automatic chokes. And let me put my little thing. Now I don't recommend you doing this. It's not meant for this, but I use this to let my equipment warm up. I know most people don't really care, but I believe in warming my stuff up. So let this sit for a minute so it warms up, and then I just slide it down. Little life hack, but I do not recommend doing this. It is not safe, but you know, not saying I do everything by the books. Alright, let's see how this starts. There's the push mower. That ended up being a very good investment. I will say, I don't like these even wheels. For all the ruts that I go over, I find the frame of the mower bending when I go to push it over the ruts. And I just find it to catch a lot more. The blade catches on the ruts or roots, whatever you want to call it, you know. But, so I don't really like the even wheel. They're nice for flat ground and nothing that's real uneven. So I do find a lot of use in having both of these. The big wheels gives me a lot more leverage to pick this mower over stuff. I don't particularly like this one as much though, because it kicks stuff back at my face. That was just a design of that mower, a design flaw. So here is the blade that was on the 855, which you'll see that in a minute. This is going to be a long update video. I do apologize, but there's a lot to cover. I will be starting videos back up, so don't be alarmed if you start seeing stuff on my channel. This is the Wheelhorse GT2500, and if you guys remember back to last year, I purchased a Wheelhorse B80. Needless to say, I am not a big fan of Tecumseh. The only thing I own currently with a Tecumseh, and unless I get something for cheap or free, it will not own a Tecumseh, is this generator, and it actually tends to work pretty good. I got it as a Christmas present from my dad, so pretty cool little Sears generator, Sears Roebuck, 3,000 watt. Works pretty good actually for the age. But other than that, I don't really use any Tecumsehs. There's the Tecumseh out of it, just sitting in the weeds. The only thing that I'm trying to avoid using that small gas tank. I have a big gas tank, but I got to redo some stuff. The battery was up here. I moved it down to there. I wired most of this back in, swapped this engine into it. You might ask, why did I go from a 12 to a 10 or 8 horsepower Kohler? 12 horsepower Tecumseh to an 8 horsepower Kohler. Sorry, I said that. I want to make sure I got that right. This is going to start pretty much every time. And Tecumseh, I mean, parts are just hard to find. They're not as reliable. And what I found here in central Pennsylvania is it gets so cold that those Tecumsehs will not start. So, and I'll do an example for you. So, most people in cold weather, these are all splash lube engines. You want to start your engines about half throttle. Choke. The reason being is that oil sludges up. Now, you do want to use a winter oil such as 10W30. This summer, you want to use straight 30. Well, needless to say, you still want to get that oil going. So, the Tecumsehs, if you have anything above low throttle, they're impossible to start. This is the third engine like this that I've had that problem. Finally realized that this is a Tecumseh problem. So I have to start the engine at low throttle. Okay, so what? Well, this is the third Tecumseh engine. It's also been easy to start in the summer, and then as soon as it gets cold out, they're impossible to start, even with 10W30 oil. I believe that's because it doesn't have the automatic compression release, because it's just unbelievable to start. This is actually my second or third starter. That's why I pulled the engine out. I kept getting starters and blowing them out because the engines are just so hard to start. So this now has a Kohler 8-speed. This is the 25th anniversary edition. So this engine wasn't original. This originally came with 11 horsepower Briggs anywho. And so yeah, this will be a work tractor. This was my Pap's, I believe. It's not for sure, but I think it is. This was his tractor. I hate that it's sitting outside, but room is just very, very much not there. So that's partially as to why the 316 might be up for sale here soon. And I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know what I'm doing, but just to have a tractor I'm not going to use doesn't make any sense. Now, I do have a deck and I have a snowplow for this Wheelhorse. Yeah, so another thing I forgot to update, I am purchasing at the Antique Machinery Show, I'm purchasing a snowplow for this Cub. So far the plan is this will be my winter tractor. I got the wheels and tires I used last year on that, and then I put these on my 855 Wheelhorse. But they're my tire chains. Got one on the floor, but whatever. But yeah, this does have a charging issue. I'm kind of tired of having a tractor with charging issues in the winter. But I got so much on my plate at this point that I just don't know what I'm going to get to and when. So, here's the deck for the GT2500. Here's the 855. This one more than likely will be up for sale. I need to clear house. I'm actually looking at acquiring another tractor. So, this motor runs flawlessly. I've actually accidentally started this, so my battery was low. I flipped the switch up, and I turned it just to get it over on the one end of the compression stroke so it would turn over easier. I ended up starting up the engine by hand, just one little crank over. Didn't even mean to, almost lost my finger, but I didn't even realize I left that on. But yeah, that was an accident, but it just goes to show how quick this engine starts, and it was in the winter time, so. But this is what I used to plow this winter. These are the wheels and tires off that Cub in there. But yeah, so I believe I'm selling this one. Unfortunately, it is a one-year tractor, 1965. It needs a lot of love. I hate to see it be parted out, but if somebody parts it out, well, so be it. But It's a very nice original tractor. It's got the original decals. So I really enjoyed this tractor. It's just, I'm to the point now I have too much on my plate to deal. I mean, it needs hubs, it needs axle seals, it needs the steering gear. It still turns, but it will slip at some points. So, but I mean, I dealt with it, no problem. But yeah, and then I have the B80, which I used for that. I am considering taking that transmission out, but that's not for sure yet. I might be using this as a parts tractor for that. That was also kind of the plan for this. Whether that takes place, I'm not sure. This 8 horsepower engine, for the most part, besides this starter, is a solid parts engine. Carburetor will work with that one. You know, flywheel shield or whatever will work. You know, head, if I need the head. So, I mean, I don't know. That's the only thing that's kept me from selling these at this point. The transmission in that doesn't leak and doesn't have any hub problems to my better knowledge, so that probably will be the one that I will take if I do decide to do that. So, yeah. I'm kind of torn on these two back here. I mean, I need to get rid of tractors. That's the bottom line. Now, if I were to pull the engine out of this and the transmission out of that, I mean, I'm including the Tecumseh with that. If any, you know, buddy were to buy it, now I'm not selling it on YouTube, but I'm just, you know, saying, if anybody were to buy it with the Tecumseh, I mean, that gives it more complete, but kind of where I'm torn at. I'm better off selling these tractors how they are at this point to get the most money out of them, because otherwise they are strictly parts tractors. At the conditions that they're in, they're possible project tractors, so that brings the value up a little bit more. But yeah, a couple more things and we'll be done for the day. Here's my Cub Cadet cart. Yeah, I am living in a junkyard, pretty much. And that's been working good. I use it constantly. This thing sees more use than it probably has ever seen. But, here's this piece of junk. Honestly, it's not. It just needs a new carburetor, but I just caught fire that one day and exploded on me, and I just haven't touched it since. Actually, I believe it would be a pretty solid parts mower for this. That's the E. This is the EX series, which I don't know what all is different. That does have an overhead valve as well, so besides the muffler, I don't really see anything different. What do I know? But yeah, so that's the update. I am looking at acquiring another tractor for my fleet. That will be down the road, but I'm going to give you a warning. There probably will be another tractor here at some point. I'm not going to give any details of that, though. So stay tuned, and guess you guys will just have to wait and see. Thank you for watching this. I have that SpeedX video coming out. Please watch that. That's one of my dad's tractors. Very cool machine. And I have a couple more tractors of him that I'm going to be going over, or of his. So, yeah, thank you guys. Please like, subscribe, and make sure to check out my other videos.